You bag leaves in the fall, buy compost in spring, and then water 30 to 50% more than you need all summer. That's money and time you don't get back. Here's the fix for zones 7 to 10. Stop composting leaves and run them through a worm chicken loop that turns fall mess into spring harvests. In 8 to 12 weeks above 50 degrees Fahrenheit, you can go from dry leaves to plant-ready fines. Spring greens often yield 1.5 to 2 times over bare soil with just 1 to 2 inches of those fines on top. The problem isn't you, it's the system you were taught. You were told to rake, bag, or slow compost. That bleeds fertility and time. Leaves are free carbon. Chickens add the nitrogen. Worms finish the job. Your beds get fed, stay cooler, hold moisture, and grow faster with fewer weeds. Here's the system. 5 parts. Same order every fall to spring. Leaf catchment corral. You make a simple corral where leaves land or where you dump them. Bag or static leaf leaves. Corral it near your coop so you're not hauling back and forth. Keep the pile moist, like a wrung-out sponge, not soaked. Every few layers, throw in a handful of your garden soil. That inoculates the leaves with local fungi and bacteria. The corral shape keeps air moving in from the sides, and the structure of leaves creates channels. Aeration and inoculation start the biology. Why it works? Leaves are mostly carbon. Fungi are designed to eat that carbon. Your soil already has the right microbes. Moisture wakes them up. Air keeps the pile from going anaerobic. You're prepping the buffet before the shredders arrive. Note for cold or hotter. If you're in a colder pocket, edge of zone 6, keep the corral in a sunny spot and add a top tarp when rains are cold. It speeds the warm-up. In hotter pockets, zone 10 plus, keep it shaded and mist lightly so it doesn't dry to paper. Chicken shredding bay. Chickens are your fast shredder and nitrogen injector. Keep a bay on bare dirt. Deep litter leaves right into that bay. Toss kitchen scraps. Rotate birds through it if you have multiple areas, or just keep it as your main daytime work zone. 4 hens produce about 0.4 to 0.6 pounds of manure daily. That's the perfect nitrogen to charge a steady trickle of dry leaves. The birds scratch, rip, and blend. Their manure hits the carbon at exactly the right time. You're building a leaf manure mix without a thermometer or a chore list. Why it works? Carbon plus nitrogen at the right moisture is compost. Chickens do the mixing and tear leaves into small pieces, which increases surface area. More surface area means microbes take off. Manure supplies fast nitrogen and bacteria. Bare dirt lets microbes migrate up into the litter and water drain down. Deep litter absorbs ammonia and smell. Biology converts it. Notes: if it smells, add more dry leaves. Smell means excess nitrogen or not enough carbon. If it's dusty, miss the bay. Dust means too dry and slow biology. In cooler months, the birds still shred. In warmer months, the mix heats and cools faster because there's airflow and turning every day. 3. Worm windrow by beds. You don't need distant bins. Put the worm engine where you want the fertility. Make a windrow trench right by your beds, shallow, a few inches deep, the length of a bed edge. Trench the leaf manure mix out of the chicken bay and into that trench. Cover with a few inches of leaves or a thin layer of soil to keep flies down and moisture in. Worms build castings in place. 2 pounds of red wigglers process about 0.5 to 1 pound per day. Cooler months are slower, warmer faster. In zones 7 to 10, the soil stays workable and above 50 degrees Fahrenheit much of fall and winter. That's all worms need. You're feeding them a pre-chewed, pre-inoculated mix. They will turn it into castings and microaggregates right where your roots will reach. Why it works? Vermicompost thrives in the cool, moist, oxygen-rich edge of a bed. The windrow is a buffet line. Worms pull food in, microbes pre-digest, worms pass it as castings loaded with plant-available nutrients and sticky glues that hold soil crumbs together. No hauling, no bins to cool in winter, just in-place processing. Note for cold snaps. If a freeze is coming, add extra leaf cover over the windrow. In zones 7 to 8, that's often enough. In 9 to 10, the main risk is drying out. Water lightly and keep it shaded. 4. Sift and spread fines. By late winter to early spring, you'll see the mix go dark, crumbly, and sweet-smelling. That's your fines. Shredded leaves plus manure become plant-ready fines in 8 to 12 weeks above 50 degrees Fahrenheit. When you can pinch it and it holds, it's ready. Sift or rake to separate fines from chunks. Rake the fines onto beds as a 1 to 2 inch layer. Leave the chunks as mulch in paths or around perimeters. No need to till. The fines feed, the chunks shield. Roots and worms will pull nutrients downward. Why it works? A thin blanket of fines feeds soil life in the top few inches where most feeder roots live. You keep structure intact and prevent erosion. The chunky layer stops raindrop splash, reduces crusting, and becomes next round's carbon. Numbers that matter. A 1 to 2 inch layer of fines on top is what drove those 1.5 to 2 times spring greens over bare soil in real gardens. Deep litter mulch saves 30 to 50% irrigation and stretches watering intervals by 3 to 7 days because it slows evaporation and holds water where roots can use it. If you insist on mixing, use a rake to scuff the top inch only. But in this system, top dressing wins. 5. Planting through mulch. You don't need bare dirt beds. Plant into the fines and through the chunks. For seeds, pull fines aside to expose a narrow strip of bare soil and sow there. Overwater the furrow once to settle. Then, the mulch keeps it moist. For transplants, slice holes through the chunky layer, tuck transplants into the fines and soil below, and water deep. Use drip or olas under the mulch if you have them. The mulch keeps soil cooler, moisture steadier, and weeds way down. Why it works. Mulch creates a microclimate. Cooler soil, fewer swings, steady biology. Weed seeds need light and disturbance. You're giving them neither. Water moves sideways under mulch, so you water less and keep it where roots are. Numbers again. With this deep litter mulch, you'll likely cut irrigation through 30 a 50% and stretch intervals por 3 a 7 días. In zones 7 a 10, that's a real dent in your water bill and your time. That's the system. Leaves to chickens, chickens to worms, worms to beds, beds to food. Here's the loop that makes it better every season. Leaves become chicken litter. Manure boosts worm food. Worms enrich beds. Better harvests create more scraps for chickens. Your birds eat better, your worms eat better, your plants eat better. Mulch cuts weeds. Save time grows quick cover crops. More biomass feeds the corral next fall. You're making your own inputs, not buying bags. Healthier soil holds water. Drought losses drop, your flock and your worms thrive, multiplying your processing power. Resilience stacks. Why this keeps working without you babysitting it. Biology loves edges. The chicken bay is an edge. The windrow by your bed is an edge. Air, moisture, food, life. You create the conditions and stand back. You match the seasons. In zone 7 to 10, fall through early spring stays at or above 50 degrees Fahrenheit often enough that microbes and worms keep ticking. 8 to 12 weeks is the window. Cooler, slower. Warmer, faster. You don't chase a calendar, you watch temperature and moisture. You're not fighting entropy with hot piles and turns. Chickens shred daily, worms eat daily, beds receive daily. It's constant low-effort flow. Let's put the numbers in context so you can trust them. 4 hens making 0.4 to 0.6 pounds of manure a day is enough nitrogen to green up a steady stream of leaves. If you have 8 hens, double it. If you have 2, feed slower and the system still works. 2 pounds of red wigglers eat 0.5 to 1 pound a day. In a windrow, you can build the population right where you need it. In cooler months, they slow down. When daytime highs are back above 50 degrees Fahrenheit, they ramp up. No special equipment. A 1 to 2 inch layer of fines on your spring beds is what bumps greens into the 1.5 to 2 times zone versus bare dirt. It's not magic. It's more available nutrition, better tilth, and steadier moisture. The deep mulch you built from chunks and leaves saves 30 to 50% irrigation and pushes your watering window 3 to 7 days. That's biology holding water and blocking the sun from stealing it. And the timeline matters. Shredded leaves with manure become plant-ready fines in 8 to 12 weeks above 50 degrees Fahrenheit. If nights drop below that for long stretches, add a couple weeks. If days are mild and sunny, it speeds up. Quick climate notes. Zone 7 edges or higher elevation. Add a thin soil cap on your windrow during cold snaps to hold heat and moisture. Expect the 12-week end of the window. Zone chin to chin. Shade cloth over the chicken bay and the windrow keeps moisture up. Water lightly more often. Expect the 8-week end of the window, sometimes faster. Common questions you might be thinking. Will this attract pests? The cover layer and in-place trenching cuts smells and flies. If you ever smell ammonia, add more dry leaves and mix. If you see raccoons, add a wire cover to the windrow. Do I need to buy worms? If your soil already has worms, many will move in. Red wigglers boost speed. Start with 1 to 2 pounds and feed to their pace. What if I don't have chickens? Then you're missing the nitrogen and shredding engine. Borrow a neighbor's birds for a weekend shred, or skip to slower leaf-only piles. But the system as designed needs birds. Simple steps to start this week. Build a leaf catchment corral near your coop. Start stacking leaves, keep it moist, and throw in handfuls of soil. Clear a chicken shredding bay on bare dirt. Deep litter leaves and start tossing kitchen scraps. Watch smell and moisture. Dig a shallow windrow trench along a bed edge. Move some of the leaf manure mix into it and cover. After a few weeks above 50 degrees Fahrenheit, pull a bit and check. When it's dark and crumbly, sift and spread 1 to 2 inches of fines on your spring bed. Leave the chunks as mulch. Plant through the mulch. Overwater the first time. Then switch to drip or olives and let the mulch do its job. Stop composting leaves. Let chickens and worms do it. Mulch now, harvest double later.